All right. It is Tuesday, October 27th, 2020 at 4:41 p.m. All right, let's head into these stories. We have a week before the election, Texas National Guard prepares to deploy troops to cities. The cities, I have another article here open on my phone. It says the cities, it says Jones troops could be sent to Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and San Antonio. Now let's read this article. It says a spokesperson for the Guard said the deployment is not related to the election and troops would not be stationed at polling places. Mayors in two cities said they weren't advised of the deployment. It says the Texas National Guard said on Monday that up to 1,000 troops could be dispatched to cities across Texas ahead of the November 3rd election. Brandon Jones, a spokesperson for the Guard, said the deployment is not related to the election and troops will not be stationed at polling places. He said it was a continuation of peacekeeping efforts that began during the anti-police brutality protests this summer. The Texas Military Department was activated to provide additional support to the Department of Public Safety in the summer of 2020. So, this is supposedly a continuation of what the riots and all these things were happening earlier this summer. Let's take a look at what's happening right now. It says violence and tears through West Philly after police shoot, kill man, 30 years old, officers hurt. The violence happened after police shot and killed Walter Wallace Jr., who was seen on a video armed with a knife, according to police, as his mother tried to restrain him on Monday. So apparently he was having some mental issues or something, and he had a knife, and his mother was trying to restrain him. It says crowds of people took to the streets in West Philadelphia overnight after Philadelphia police officers shot and killed Walter Wallace Jr., a man armed with a knife on Monday. At least 30 officers were hurt responding to the crowds, police say. At least 91 people were arrested. Skyforce 10 showed people taking items from the stores along West Philadelphia businesses' corridors before daybreak on Tuesday. Angry crowds took to the street in West Philadelphia overnight after police shot and killed a man armed with a knife on Monday, with some of the crowds throwing rocks and bricks at police, and some looting and vandalizing businesses. At least 30 police officers were hurt, police said. One was hospitalized. A 56-year-old sergeant who was intentionally run over by a pickup truck at 52nd and Walnut Streets early Tuesday. Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw said her leg was broken, among other injuries, police said. All the officers, except for the one struck by the truck, have been treated and released as of early Tuesday. So it's the same kind of feeling since last summer. Of all the rioting now happening again with Philly, plus what's happening with Halloween. Halloween usually isn't a good time when it comes to, bad things and supposedly Devil's Night or, the night before Halloween. So it's kind of an uneasy time for police officers and for anybody on the streets, first off, if you live in a big city. So this isn't helping with the riots going on. It just brings unease, and when you live in a big city or you live anywhere near large cities that experience the rioting this summer, a lot of people have been moving out of cities because of what happened this summer. Also, Pastor Dana Coverstone was talking about how people would be looking out of their windows in fear or trying to stay protected while in their dwelling places. He said the people would be, garbed in like warm jackets while looking out the window, trying to keep an eye out for trouble. Hopefully, it doesn't get that big where people go to other people's houses and possibly do damage. But yeah. Next, protests against new COVID-19 restrictions hit Italy. So not only the United States having protests, Italy having protests, but this is against COVID-19. It says under the new restrictions, Italian movie theaters and gyms will shut, restaurants and bars close at 6 p.m., and curfews be imposed in several regions. It says Rome. Protests against a fresh round of coronavirus restrictions hit about a dozen cities in Italy on Monday evening amid a surge of infection numbers across the country and the continent. Meanwhile, in Spain, one of Europe's worst hotspots, doctors' capital Madrid were due to go into an indefinite strike Tuesday over working conditions and the pandemic. The new measures ordering Italian restaurants and bars to close from 6 p.m., shutting down cinemas and gyms, and imposing local curfews in several regions of the country were met with protests, both peaceful and violent. All right. So, I'm gonna look up something. Let's see here. Protesters attack neighborhood. Neighborhood. Okay. I'm just looking to see. There was an article, I believe, where neighborhoods were attacked by protesters. I think it was earlier during the year in the summer, getting closer to fall, towards the end of fall. I mean, the beginning of fall, end of summer. Supposedly, they got closer to a whole neighborhood and they started throwing things and breaking windows. I can't find the article, but I just wanted to cover it as well. That's the kind of energy that it's giving to me. Hopefully, it doesn't get to that where it gets, the crowds, the protest gets so big. Um, living in a big city, like I live in a big city, but I don't live close to the central city area. But hopefully, it doesn't get big enough that the crowds just, start spilling onto people's homes and they start doing that kind of mischief. All right, pray for us. Pray for anybody living in Philadelphia right now having to deal with this. Pray for the people in Italy. Please pray for each other and keep each other in during these difficult times. All right, guys, especially now that November 3rd election is coming and Halloween is coming. It's just a big unease and unrest that a lot of people have been talking about. Even they've been even talking about the possibility of civil war. I don't know how accurate that is, but has been talked about. All right, guys, hit like and subscribe for more news, and see you guys next time. God bless.